It's Monday, August 19, 2019, and this is Globespan 24x7 News. My name is Samuel Sukhnandan, coming to you live from Georgetown, Guyana. Here are the major headlines for today. BERBICIAN killed after losing control of motorcycle. TULLOW oil fine good for Guyana, says British diplomat. Jagdeo and Jordan clash over public servants' wage increase. Guyana records 3% increase in rice production. And Virgin Atlantic denies Guyana flights rumor. We begin tonight's newscast by telling you that a Berbice man was last evening pronounced dead on arrival at the Fort Wellington Public Hospital after he lost control of his motorcycle on the number 42 Village Public Road on the west coast of Berbice. Shakima Day has that story.
24-year-old Lachman Hansrach, a graphic designer of Lot 116 Bath Settlement on the west coast of Berbice, was returning home from a horse racing activity on Sunday evening when he lost control of his motorbike, CJ 5154, and met his demise. Reports indicate that the young man was proceeding at a fast rate when he lost control and crashed into a pedestrian before falling on the roadway. According to the young man's cousin, Bridge Paul Hansrach, they received word of the accident and rushed to Fort Wellington Hospital, where they were informed that he passed.
From the information that we have from the police, is that he fell with the bike, and the bike skated about 150 feet away from him, and the bike hit into a car, and he suffered a head injury, and the police take him to the hospital with somebody else, and when they come home to his brother and brother reached the hospital, he was already dead.
When was the last time you saw him and he told you he was going? And
he was going to the HUGH about 1 p.m. yesterday.
1 p.m.
Police right by the HUGH area, they come with the next African fella. They pick him up and bring him to put him in the hospital.
Hansrach was described as a talented but quiet person who worked hard to care for his family.
The quiet spoken person, he doesn't really talk much. Just go to the company, eat friends and lime and just drink one beer and everything.
The pedestrian was rushed to the hospital where she was treated for minor injuries and discharged. Reporting for Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Thanks, Shakima. Despite the ongoing dispute over the oil contract signed between Guyana and UK-based oil company TULLOW Oil, which just last week made a huge discovery, British High Commissioner to Guyana Greg Quinn is of the opinion that the discovery is good for Guyana. More in this report.
Contract terms are for TULLOW and the government to sort out, and I'm not going to get into that discussion. It's a commercial contract. It's not a contract that I've been involved in. Have you seen how thick it is? I certainly haven't read it.
That was British High Commissioner to Guyana Greg Quinn addressing the media this morning. The British diplomat stayed clear from commenting on the terms of the contract between government and the oil company.
I think from my point of view, the TULLOW find last week is good for Guyana for two simple reasons. One, it demonstrates that there is oil outside of the Exxon block, so this isn't just about Starbrook, it's far bigger than that. And secondly, it brings in a whole new set of companies, a whole new set of countries, and a whole new set of operators. And the more operators and countries and companies you have involved in the oil fields, the better.
It has been revealed that the production sharing agreement governing the Oranjuk block that Guyana agreed to collect a 1% royalty. In addition to that, Guyana agreed to have the operators of the block recover the paid royalty. Following its discovery of oil, TULLOW Oil announced that it will shift operations from its Trinidad base to local shores. Shares in TULLOW Oil jumped 17% after it made what analysts described as a potentially transformational discovery in Guyana that could yield more than 100 million barrels of oil. TULLOW will shortly drill a second well in the same area in Guyana as the Jagdeo well, the results of which are expected towards the end of next month. It is also planning for the exploration work. For Globespan 24x7 News, I'm Samuel Sukhnandan. Virgin Atlantic is being widely reported to be looking to start direct flights from London to Georgetown, Guyana, as soon as 2020. The Guyana government says it has held talks with senior members of the Virgin Atlantic team and that the carrier is keen to add Guyana to its route network soon. However, the airline told simpleflying.com, and I quote, "There's no truth in this, I'm afraid. We are always reviewing our route network, but we currently have no plans to launch flights to Guyana," end quote. Originally reported by the Jamaica Observer, this weekend the Virgin Atlantic rumor has been widely reiterated by other outlets, including Barbados Today and Kappa. While Virgin is denying thinking about a Guyana service, the government reportedly started the widespread rumor. Speaking to the Jamaica Observer, Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson said, and I quote, "They were on a Skype call to myself and Minister of Finance on them coming here. This was the director of the airline with oversight for the routes. He was going into a meeting and he would like to know what is Guyana's position, saying he would like to put Guyana on their route for 2020, end quote. Virgin already flies to Barbados and other Caribbean destinations, but Guyana would be something completely new. In fact, it would likely have the route all to itself, as no other European airline offers a direct connection. Opposition leader Jagdeo is questioning the government's commitment to public servants, particularly teachers, after Finance Minister Winston Jordan said public servants can look forward to their yearly salary increases. This comes on the heels of Jordan committing to increases of wages for 2019 and 2020. Kibney Jordan filed this report.
The finance minister said there are two high-level committees currently in talks with the two main unions about salary increases for public servants.
But let's say you don't want me to do that because we're in discussions with the unions at the moment. And you know my head will be chewed off immediately if I were to go down that road. So, no, I'm not working on anything. I'm not even part of the negotiations. There are two high-level committees that are engaging the two main unions, and we trust that they will be able to advance the negotiations to such a stage that we're ready to make a payout.
Jordan further stated that public servants can expect a big increase in 2019 and an even bigger one in 2020. Opposition leader Jagdeo, however, claims that the government has a poor track record in wage increases and workers' benefits. Meanwhile, at a recent press conference, Jordan noted that the coalition government has implemented a 62% increase in public servant salaries in 3.5 years, the same amount that took the opposition 9 years to achieve. For Globespan 24x7 News, I am Kibney Jordan.
Thanks, Kibney. The economic growth posted for the first half of 2019 was slower than the corresponding period last year. Given the sluggish growth, the growth rate for the entire 2019 was adjusted downwards, says former government minister and presidential candidate for the PPPC, Irfan Ali. More in this story. The half-year report presented by Minister of Finance confirms that the economy continues to suffer from extreme fatigue. This is according to Irfan Ali, the chief financial spokesperson for the PPPC, who gave an in-depth analysis of the report and what this means for the various sectors of the local economy. The former minister said based on the report, the real GDP for the first half of 2019 decelerated to 4%, compared with the revised 5% for the corresponding period in 2018. Given the slow start to 2019, the projected growth for this year was adjusted downwards to 4.5%. Thus, Ali noted that the growth rate of the economy for the first half is not only lower than the corresponding period 1 year ago, but will contribute to economic growth that is below the level projected for 2019. Open quote. These outturns point to an economy that is struggling and consistently underperforming rather than one that is strong and improving, he added, end quote. The consistent underperformance of the economy is also highlighted by the average half-year growth of 2.9% recorded under the APNU government during the period of 2015 to 2019, compared with 4.2% during the last 5 years when the PPPC was in office, between 2011 and 2014. The PPPC presidential candidate said while the Finance Minister Winston Jordan attempted to paint a rosy picture concerning the performance of the economy for the remainder of the year, The report shows that there will be a decline in the export revenue for bauxite, sugar, and timber. This decline in export revenue, coupled with anticipated increase in exports, will result in a balance of payment deficit instead of a budgeted surplus. Ali noted that the increase in non-performing loans also suggests that the economy is ailing. For Globespan 24x7 News, I'm Samuel Sukhnandan. Meanwhile, rice production from the first crop of 2019 is reported to be 3.4% higher than the recorded figure for the first crop of 2018. This information was revealed in the Ministry of Finance's mid-year report on the agriculture sector. The report showed that the expansion and diversification of the agricultural sector have seen considerable progress and expansion. This is especially true for non-traditional agriculture produce and value-added production. Rice production specifically has benefited exponentially from the work of the Guyana Rice Development Board, GRDB, which has resolved many of the challenges faced by rice farmers in the field. This helped in not only retaining yield and production levels, but resulted in the aforementioned marked increase for the first crop this year, despite challenges with paddy bugs. While production levels of the traditional crops such as rice have shown improvement, the effort to expand non-traditional crops was advanced through land clearing and on-farm development in Ithaca, Mocha, Buxton, and Triumph. This has resulted in more than 150 acres of land in these communities being brought under cultivation, employing 156 farmers. These farmers received planting materials for their crop production and are benefiting from full-time agricultural extension services. The Working People's Alliance says it intends to continue supporting the coalition government despite their shortcomings over the past 3.5 years. More from Shakima Day.
The Working People's Alliance believes the coalition government remains a better option for Guyana despite shortcomings made previously. This is according to WPA Executive Dr. David Hines, who highlighted that the party will continue to fully support the government, but will ensure that it delivers on promises made to the Guyanese people. Speaking on some of the coalition government's shortcomings, Hines said that they failed to make good on one of its main campaign promises, punishing criminal elements associated with the former government.
Punishment to the elements associated with the past government for corruption during the PPP's tenure. The government spent millions of dollars on the audits, and so they have evidence before them. They had evidence before them to move on some of the more outrageous forms of corruption, and they have not done so.
When asked why the WPA continues to support the current government, Dr. Hines explained that despite its mistakes, the coalition government has done great things for Guyana, and this will give them an edge in the upcoming general elections.
We feel that above and beyond these shortcomings, that there are certain very big things that the government has succeeded in doing. And the first thing we want to draw attention to is the fact that this has been the first government in the history of Guyana, pre-independence and post-independence, that has not gunned down political opponents. We have not had any political assassinations under the watch of this government. We have not had opposition figures being thrown in jail for treason and other trumped-up charge.
Hines mentioned that the WPA hopes to play a more active role in the decision-making process in government to the betterment of Guyana. Reporting for Globespan 24x7 News, Shakima Day.
Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Karen Cummings challenged Berbicians to hold their regional and neighborhood democratic councils accountable for their actions, as they are responsible for the development of communities and the region collectively. This comment comes after reports and visible evidence of damaged roads and bridges that are in dire need of repairs, along with complaints of non-representation from the opposition-led municipalities. More in this report.
So I'm challenging you to be a little more proactive, comrades, rather than reactive. All right? So I'm going to check the roads. I'm sorry I didn't come here, as I said before, I should have been a Shieldstone rather than here. So I'm going to check the roads that the NDC is doing. The roads that the RDC is doing and the roads that are scheduled for Minister of Infrastructure to do. I'm sorry, I don't have it here to let you know. But monies are being spent, and we certainly don't want to carry back money to consolidated fund. We want the money to be spent in the communities. All right?
Foreign Minister Dr. Karen Cummings at a ministerial outreach in Berbice on August 18. Cummings told residents to visit their NDC to get materials to have the bridge outside their primary school repaired as school reopens in a few weeks. They were charged with the responsibility of getting the repairs done in another 2 weeks.
Minister doesn't have to come in here. Look at this bridge there. So you have the main road, as Mr. Nganguru alluded to earlier, right? If that's the main road that cars pass and the children use this, but look at the bridge there. Nothing happened, nothing said. And we want to do prevention rather than when something happens, then you're trying to hasten and cure. All right? So I'm challenging you, the community. Let me see how good you are. That's a start to ensure that that bridge is repaired in another 2 weeks' time.
They were encouraged to be proactive instead of reactive and to get involved in their community's development. Many residents in pockets across the country have complained at most outreaches in the past of their NDCs not properly representing them, resulting in underdevelopment of their communities. For Globespan 24x7 News, I am Kippany Jordan.
Thanks, Kippany. Electronic giant, GIZMOS and Gadgets last Friday celebrated its 18th anniversary since opening its doors to the Guyanese public. The company is well known for providing the highest quality of electronic products and services, starting out with providing cell phones and accessories. The business was later expanded to provide other electronics, games, gym needs, and home furnishing, among others. During the celebration, the owner Ravi Mangar thanked attendees for their continued support and noted that the company plans to continue providing quality service to all Guyanese. The government of Guyana has announced the opening of applications for full scholarships for law graduates to attend the UNCHANGED Law School in neighboring Trinidad and Tobago. These scholarships are being offered under the Department of Public Services Scholarship Program. It marks the first time that full government scholarships are being opened for any prospective student of the UNCHANGED Law School. The scholarships are open to both first and second year students. The applicant must have already been accepted by the law school for the 2019-2020 academic year. The closing date for applications is August 30, 2019. Application forms are available at the Scholarships Division of the Department of Public Service at the St. John Road and Durban Street, and also online. We'll take a short break. Do stay with us.
We would like to ask all of our faithful viewers to kindly like and follow Globespan 24x7 Facebook page and subscribe to Globespan 24x7 YouTube channel to receive up-to-date notifications of when we are live. Globespan 24x7 has vacancies for full-time positions such as reporters, newscasters, and news editors. Persons serious about joining a new and dynamic news team are asked to send their application to careers@globespantechnology.com.
This newscast is brought to you with the kind compliments of TravelSpan GT, with locations in Georgetown and Berbice. For all your travel needs, call TravelSpan GT at 327-1701, located at Lot 3A North Road, Georgetown, between Camp and Wellington Street. In Rose Hall, call 337-4287, and in New Amsterdam, call 333-6230. Call TravelSpan today.
Thanks for staying with us. We'll continue tonight's newscast by telling you about regional and international news. Regionally, the largest solar generation plus energy storage project ever to be built in the Caribbean has been announced by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, the state-owned St. Kitts electric company, Skelec, and Swiss energy storage firm, La Cloche. The fully integrated system will comprise a 35.6 megawatt solar plant and a 44.2 megawatt lithium-ion battery energy storage system, and will provide between 25 to 30% of the nation's current power generation requirements. Solar and storage plant for Caribbean islands. Skelec and Le Clocher have entered into a 20-year power purchase agreement to ensure the residents of the Caribbean Twin Island Federation are provided with a reliable clean energy coupled with fixed cost savings compared to the current diesel-generated power system. These savings will result in the project being fully paid for over the 20-year agreement, with zero costs being covered by the customer. The project will be housed by government land in the Bastille Valley under a lease between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and the project company. Internationally, a 21-year-old woman in El Salvador whose baby was found dead in the toilet where she gave birth has been cleared during a retrial. Evelyn Hernandez had always maintained that she was innocent, saying that she did not know she was pregnant and lost consciousness during the birth. Prosecutors had asked for a prison sentence of 40 years. Her case has been closely watched in El Salvador and abroad, with women's rights activists demanded she be acquitted. El Salvador has one of the strictest anti-abortion laws in the world. Abortion is illegal in all circumstances, and those found guilty face between 2 and 8 years in jail. But in many cases, including the one against Hernandez, the charge is changed to one of aggravated homicide, which carries a minimum sentence of 30 years. Hernandez's case was the first of its kind in El Salvador, in which a full retrial had been ordered. Previously, women accused of aborting their babies has had their sentences commuted after their 30-year jail terms were deemed disproportionate and immoral, but their verdicts were never overturned. We'll now take a look at what's happening in sport. Despite heavy rainfall during the morning across the Berbice region, the Rising Sun Turf Club fans were thrilled when Apado rode Lucky Star to a victory in the 13th annual Guyana Cup main event. Stormbird came in second position and pocketed $1 million, while Settling Star, third, and Simple Slide, fourth, rounded out the top four. Kevin Paul was the judge champion jockey of the 8-race event. In the 1400-meter A. Forrester Lumberyard L-Class Cup was the fourth race of the day. Stormbird dominated, while Pikachu came in second and Released the Heat third in that event. In race number 5, the Superbet L-Class Cup, Colin Elcock's Fresh Dancer won the 1400-meter race, while Secret Flyer placed second, Silver Charm third, and Amazon Warrior rode in fourth. More than 7,000 were in attendance, including Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu, Opposition Leader Barra Jagdeo, along with government and opposition officials. England have named an unchanged squad for the third Ashes test against Australia at Headingley on Thursday. James Anderson is making progress with his calf injury and will play for Lancashire second 11 in a 3-day match beginning on Tuesday. England say the 37-year-old will be assessed on an ongoing basis. The two sides drew the second test at Lord's on Sunday, although Ashes holders Australia were given a scare by the England bowlers. Anderson, who is England's leading test wicket taker, aggravated his calf injury during the first test, which Australia went on to win. There is a longer gap, between the third test, which ends on August 26, and the fourth at Old Trafford beginning on September 4, which will give Anderson time to test his fitness. And that has brought us to the end of today's news. Before we go, here's a recap of our major headlines. BERBICIAN killed after losing control of motorcycle. Tallow oil find good for Guyana, says British diplomat. Jagdeo and Jordan clash over public servants' wage increase. Guyana records 3% increase in rice production. And Virgin Atlantic denies Guyana flights rumor. Thanks for watching Globespan 24x7 News. On behalf of myself, Samuel Sukhnandan, the news and technical team, until next time, do have a pleasant evening.